Hello guys, welcome to week three. This is for geometry, week three, day one and day two. So it's a video combining both of them together because it's going to be on the same topic. First off, um, we are going to be working with introductions to trigonometric ratio. And what that is your sine, cosine, and tangent type of thing. We just have a special name for it called trig ratio. Okay, so before we start, I just want to make sure that you are only going to be dealing with right triangles today. So that means you have to know where the right angle is because that's the most important part. If you know the right angle, you know where your hypotenuse, then you can do all of these questions easily. Okay, review from last week from our right triangle. Remember the legs, we call those A and B, and the one that's across from the right angle, we call that C, which is your hypotenuse. And then we also learned that A squared plus B squared equal to C squared. This is only used to find your length. Like if you're given two length and you need to find the last one, that's what you're going to use. Okay, so let's start with our notes. What is trigonometry? So trigonometry is the study of triangle measurement. Since it start with TRI, that's for triangle. Okay, and then just like we said, we have sine, cosine, and tangent. Even if it's just three letter, we don't call that sin. Okay, it's called sine. So you gotta read out the whole thing. And sine, it's the ratio of the opposite to the hypotenuse. Okay, so if I'm gonna pick A as the angle that I'm dealing with, the opposite from A is over here. And then hypotenuse is never going to change. Hypotenuse is always stays the same. Okay, so which means it's going to be A over C. And then for sine, now that I'm talking about B, sine B, across from B is B. Okay, opposite it's B. And then C is still our hypotenuse. Okay, so it's really important to identify what your opposite and hypotenuse is. And then let's go back to the purple. If I have to talk about cosine now, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So hypotenuse is still the same thing, it's still C. But adjacent means right next to. Next to. Okay, so next to A, the length next to A is not C, then it would be B. B is the leg that is next to A, angle A. Okay, so now it's easier if I erase it. So now if I'm talking about B, angle B, cosine B, right next to B is A and C, right? But C, we already said that's hypotenuse, which goes to the bottom for cosine, and then the top would be A. All right. Now for tangent, tangent is opposite over adjacent. So for my angle A, opposite is A, and then adjacent, remember we said adjacent was B. Same thing for the other one. Then it would be B over A. We flip it around. Okay. You guys probably know this part already. Sine, again, is opposite over hypotenuse, and that'll be SOH, S-O-H. And then cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is CA. Tangent goes with opposite and adjacent, which is TOA, SOHCAHTOA. So you can try to remember this for all of the questions that you're going to be dealing with for the week. Okay, let me do an example at the bottom, and this will help you to do page 2 on your homework. You're going to be finding sine, cosine, and tangent D, and then later you're going to find sine, cosine, and tangent E with what we're given right now. So if you look at all of those three lengths, I only get 1, 2. I'm missing this length right here. Okay, remember what we said right away from the beginning? If you're only given 2 sides, need to find the last one. Use your a squared plus b squared equal to c squared. Right across from my right angle, that's going to be my c, so it's going to be 29 squared. And then we get these 2 on the side, so it'll be 20 squared plus b squared equal to 29 squared. Keep solving for it. We have 400 plus b squared equals to 841. And then we subtract 400 on both sides. Cross this off. We have b squared equals to 441. And then we square root both sides. These go away. So my final answer for that length would be b equal to, use your calculator, it would be 21. So I can get rid of this and I say, hey, this is 21. Okay? Now, to find out our answers to sine, cosine, and tangent D, we have to focus on this angle. Okay? And then we name everything according to this angle. So opposite from this angle would be 20, which is my opposite. And then hypotenuse never changed. This is always going to be my hypotenuse because it's right across from the right angle. That leaves our last one to be adjacent. Okay, so use the information above to help you find sine. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite hypotenuse, which is 20 over 29. Cosine, we have adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent over hypotenuse would be 21 over 29. Last one, opposite over adjacent, which is opposite adjacent. So it's 20 over 21. Okay. Now for sine E. So you can erase this, and we're going to do sine E now. This is still 21 though. So I'm going to focus on E and name all three sides. This is going to be my opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent. And then sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so it's 21 over 29. And then the next one, adjacent, which is 20 over 29. And last one, opposite over adjacent, so 21 over 20. Okay, you can kind of tell from our answer that these two are the same. These two are the same. And then for these two answers, they just swap. They just swap. Because we're still dealing with the same triangle. Okay? Just a little hint. All right, we're going to move on to doing some questions that actually deal with a calculator for sure. Okay, back then people would use a chart to find out what sine 30 is, things like that. But we're going to be using a calculator, and I highly recommend you guys open a tab for desmos.com/scientific. Okay, if you're going to deal with sine, cosine, and tangent, just make sure you go to this. And also, it should be in degree mode, which once you turn on, it's already on degree mode. Okay, so let me show you real quick. This is your scientific calculator, and then right here it should say degree. I don't know if you can see this part. So I should see DEG. And then we got our sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, let's go to our first question. And for all of these questions, just keep in mind, you should find out what your opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse is first, or the ones that you would need. So if this is the given angle, and I'm gonna label what this part is across, is gonna be opposite, okay? Hypotenuse is across from the right angle, which leaves our last one, adjacent. Okay, so I got these three items. The only thing that's really given to me is opposite and 25, which is adjacent. So that means we're going to be using tangent. Tangent 62 equals to x over 25. To solve for this, we got to solve for x, right? We got to multiply 25 on both sides, cross this off, and then we got x, drop down our x, equal, and you can just put this in the calculator. 25 tangent 62. 25 tangent 62, which gives you 47.01 blah blah blah. We're gonna round it to the 10th, so 47.0. That's your answer. Hey, if you want to flip it around, you can flip it around. Let's try another one. We have our angle, and then what's across from it, it's your opposite. And my right angle across from it, that would be your hypotenuse. Okay, and we kind of don't need the last one because there's nothing here, right? So I'm gonna highlight hypotenuse, opposite, and we're gonna use our angle to complete the line. We get, let me write SOHCAHTOA up here. So if we have O and H, that means we're gonna be using sine 26 equals to 11 over x. This question is a little bit different than the previous one because we can multiply the bottom, multiply the x, and get rid of the x, but then we gotta do one last step, which is, it'll look like this, right? The very last step is to divide both sides by sine 26. So this will go away, and then my final answer would be x equal 11 over sine 26. Delete 11 over is the division, okay? Sine 26. And then my answer would be 25.1 because we got to round up. And that's your answer. Okay. For the next question, we have our angle, and we get to do across from it, which is opposite, and we have hypotenuse. So kind of the same as the one right before, which is sine, and 48 equals to x over 32. And then we multiply both sides by 32, so we can cross out the denominator, and you just literally put this in your calculator and you get your answer. I think you guys know how to put it in the calculator by now. I'm just going to write the answer. It would be 23.8. Okay, last one. That looks the same. So I have my angle. Across from it, there's nothing for opposite. And then diagonally from my right angle, that's my hypotenuse, which leaves the last one to be adjacent. Okay, so I have adjacent, hypotenuse. Let me just do these. So that means to set it up, it would be cosine 12 equals to 29 over x. Multiply x on both sides, we get x times cosine 12 equals to 29. Last step, divide both sides by cosine 12. So x would be 29.6. All right. Let me show you a little bit complicated question up down here. This would be on your day 2 homework, similar. So you got 2 triangles here, and they're asking you to find this length at the end. Okay, but think about it. This triangle that we have here, we are only given the angle. We're not given anything else but that angle. So look at the top triangle. Oops, let me do it again. Look at the triangle at the top, and you see that we're given an angle. We're also given a number. Okay, and whatever that they both share, we're gonna find that first. Okay, so I'm gonna put it in this color. I'm gonna find this question mark first. So for now we can call it B, because it's like A and B. And then across from 61, that's my opposite. And then on the side, that's my adjacent. So it'll be tangent 61 equals to B over 24. Solve for this. We multiply 24 on both sides. Cross off 24. B would be, if you put this in the calculator, I recommend you guys put it for more numbers after the decimal. So I put 43.297 just because later when I find my last length, it will be more accurate. Okay, so now I can erase this and I'll be like, hey, I found my answer, 43.297. And then now we can find next. So we'll use the 19, the new number at my x, which would be tangent 19 equals to x over 43.297. Multiply both sides by 43.297. 43.297. So then we get x equal to 14.9. That's it. Okay. All right. One last thing that I'm going to show you is your word problems. And then before I start the word problem, I want to tell you guys all the word problems are really similar as long as you know what each item is called. So I'm going to draw a right triangle right here first. And then we'll talk about what each of these length can be called. Okay, so over here, this length. In the word problem, we can call this a height. So whenever something, they mention heights, that means, oh, automatically I put the number or the x on this length. Or it can say tall, however tall it is, like a person. And then pole, they said the pole is this much tall, okay? Another word is altitude. Or they can say vertical. Or sometimes I see when they say above the water. Okay, these are all the terms that would help you determine where that length is at. Next, let's look at this part at the bottom. We can call this the base. We can call this horizontal, distance. Or another one is how far away. When they say how far away, blah, 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 to blah, 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 that's straight horizontally which length it is. Okay, so these three. Last one. This part right here. There are less descriptive terms, but they can use ladder, they can use ramp, they can say wire or slide. Okay, so please keep this, I don't know, take a picture of this part so you can use it for all your word problems. Now for the ladder question. A ladder leaning against a wall makes an angle of 75 degrees with the ground. If the foot of the ladder is 6 feet from the base of the wall, what is the length of the ladder? So let's draw our triangle first with our right angle. 75 with the ground. So 75 would go to the bottom. And then it says if the foot of the ladder away from the wall, from the base of the wall, that means the bottom part is the 6. And now they're asking for the ladder. Check back our question. Ladder is right up here. Okay, so with the information given, I can say that this is always going to be my hypotenuse, and then this is my opposite and adjacent. So I'm only going to be using hypotenuse and adjacent in this angle, which we have cosine 75 equals to 6 over x. Keep solving for it. We multiply x on both sides, and then we can divide by cosine 75. Cross out, cross out. And our answer to this would be 23.2 feet. All right. I'm going to show you guys some homework questions, and it will help you for both days. For the first side, let's look at number 2. Number 2, I'm given 2 length. I'm missing my last one, so let's use this space right here. This is my A, B, and C. So I have 9 squared plus 12 squared equals to C squared. Keep solving for it. We have 81 plus 144 equals to C squared. Add it up together, we get 225 equal to x, or C squared. So C would be 15. This is 15. So I don't need any of these parts anymore. Now I'm only going to use these 3 numbers, and I will show you just the first part. Just these 3 bullet points. So sine W is opposite and hypotenuse and adjacent. So we have 12 over 15. And then cosine would be 9 over 15. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, so it will be 12 over 15. So remember, all 3 of these numbers, all 3 of these fractions are, we can simplify it. They all divisible by 3. So I get 4 over 5, final answer. 3 over 5, final answer. And 4 over, did I do something wrong? Oh, 9, 12 over 9. What did I just do? So this would be 3. Is it all good now? 12 over 3, 9. Yeah. Okay. So you can do the other part yourself. Let's look at these questions down here. Remember, you are rounding it to the 10th. So number 6, I'll do that one. I'll do 7. And then, yeah, just these 2 for now. Number 6, we have our angle. And then we just label, always label your items. Opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent. So we only have adjacent and hypotenuse. We're going to use CA, which is cosine 43 equals to 36 over x. Multiply both sides by x, cross this off, and then we're going to divide cosine over to the other side. Cosine 43. So now I have x equal, put it in your calculator, you should get 49.2. Okay, number 7, opposite, hypotenuse. So now this must be adjacent. So that means we're going to use this number, this number. We have tangent 72 equals to 25 over x. times x on both sides. Cross this off. Lastly, we're going to divide by tangent 72. Cross off, so I have x equals, what's 25 over tangent 72? That's 8.1. All right, so I did like almost three questions for you guys. On the next one, if you want to do it on your own, you can. If you still need more help, then keep watching. This page, I will do number 3 and number 7 for you. Okay, number 3, angle across, we get opposite. Right angle across, we get hypotenuse. That's all we need for our question right now. So we're going to use sine 67 equal to x over 29. Okay, multiply 29 on both sides. Cross that off. 29 sine 67 will help you to get your x. Okay, I'll show it in the calculator one more time. So we're going to have 29 sine, or times sine 67. 26 point, rounded up, 26.7. Okay, number 7, we have opposite, and then hypotenuse, which leaves the last one adjacent. So whatever that we circle, we have TOA. So it's tangent 51 equals to x over 15. Multiply 15 on both sides, cross that off. So x would be 15 tangent 51. 15 tangent 51. 18.5. All right. Next page. Let's do a word problem together and one of these harder questions together. So number 13, we have two triangles, but again, they're looking for a KL right here. But in that triangle, the smaller triangle, there's nothing that I can do with this first. Okay, so I'm going to be focusing on the smaller triangle. The bigger triangle with two items given. So they gave us this number and they gave us an angle. Okay, so across from the angle, that's going to be my x. That's going to be my opposite. Because once I know that length, I can find the smaller triangle. And then this is my adjacent. So we can use tangent 51 equal x over 14. Multiply 14 on both sides. Cross that off. 14 tangent 51. 14 tangent 51. And that would be 17 point, I'm going to write all that number, 17.28856. 28856. And that will be the middle. Okay, so I'm going to erase my information. I'm going to put that number right here, 17.28856. And if this is the length that I'm looking for, I have hypotenuse and adjacent. So I'm going to be using cosine 72 equals to x over 17.28856. Almost done. Multiply both sides by the bottom number. And x would be, you should get 5.3. Let me just double check. I'm going to take my answer and I'm going to times cosine 72. 5.3. That's correct. Okay, that's it. Oh, I said I was going to do a word problem for you. Okay, so this word problem, set up your right triangle, and then it says an airplane climbs at an angle of 12 degrees with the ground. So it's a degree, 12 degree goes there. Find the horizontal distance it has traveled once it has reached an altitude of 500 feet. Remember earlier we said altitude? It's over here. Oops, that's 500. And then they said find the horizontal distance, so that means that's the bottom. So I'm going to be using tangent. 12 equals to 500 over x. Multiply both sides by x. Divide both sides by tangent. And then we cross off what we can. So x would be 500 over tangent 12, which is actually a really big number. It would be 2,352.3 feet. Alrighty, this was a very long video, but it helped you for 2 days. Alright, have a good day. Bye.